My name's Cheeky Sport Dave and welcome to AskFans TV. That's right, we've got loads coming up for you today with our special guest. It's only Ray Parlour. Come on! First of all, a huge amount of thanks to the one and only Ray Parlour for coming down and joining us, man.
Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you again, man.
Absolutely, great to be here, man.
Oh man, how you been?
Yeah, very good indeed. Yeah. Last weekend's results weren't the best for me, but you know, Arsenal losing to Man City. But yeah, other than that, it's been great.
I mean, I'm not usually out here looking for an Arsenal win myself, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean, I was hoping you guys were going to do the business on the weekend.
Well, I'm a little bit worried about they could go unbeaten, you know. We've done it in 2004, but I don't know who's going to stop them at the moment. It might be someone like Huddersfield who beat them, who knows?
It's true, you know, it's true. Yeah. So they did beat United.
But they're looking very strong though, Man
City.
They're looking a side that, you know, with the squad they've got, the depth of the squad as well. You know, if you lose a few players, you've still got loads of great players coming into the side. So De Bruyne is playing out of his skin, we know. He's been amazing this year as a player.
Is he the one that excites you the most, yeah?
He's been the best player in the Premier League, without doubt. I mean, he's a certainty to, at the moment, to get that player of the season. If he keeps going the way he is, and I'm sure his levels won't drop, everybody looks like they're enjoying their football, but they're being superb, Man City.
Let's start off to kick off and start talking about Arsenal, first of all, because I think that's what people want to hear. People want to hear from you about the club that you love, about the club that you've got passion and heart and soul for, innit? Obviously, you currently hold the all-time Premier League appearance record for Arsenal.
I do indeed,
333.
I didn't realise that either.
You didn't realise that?
No, someone told me about that. So, it's not bad, is it? When you're just playing week in, week out, you don't look at records, you don't look and say, oh, well, I want to make sure I get to a certain amount of games. You just keep playing until you don't play.
Yeah.
So, I think Theo's behind me, though. He's about 60 behind.
That's what I was going to ask.
I think they should sell him. I think they should sell him.
Hey, Theo out.
No, Theo's a great lad, and you know, I'm sure that if he does stay for the next 3 or 4 years, which he can do because he's only 28, he's got every chance of beating it. But I'm sure Theo's not really thinking about that as well. Theo's thinking about getting back into the scene, and at the moment he's not been playing. And at times he's a bit hit and miss, Theo. He's a little bit,
that's
you
what
know.
I'm saying, because some fans, I'm telling you, Theo receives a lot of banter. You know, like people are like, listen, he's of testimonial age now because he's been here for over 10 years, and people are like, in that time, all he's done is grown a beard. And it's like, but, you know.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thought he might kick on now and get a regular spot. At his age, he should be playing regularly now.
Obviously, like we touched on earlier on, that Arsenal lost to City this weekend. Like, what do you think? What do you think Arsenal's missing right now? What's this current? Because obviously, you came from the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, the best era. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your side was the last side, Arsenal side, that won the Premier League. So what are they missing? What's the biggest problems right now?
I thought they played all right the first 10, 15 minutes. It was in the game against City, and then we know what they're like on the break. They can hit you from a corner or with 4 or 5 of you bombing on. But the goals they'll be disappointed with. I mean, Kolasinac, who's been playing in a 3 at the back and obviously been wide as a wing back, he had to play as a 4. But he looked like he was a little bit more advanced when he should be. As a full-back, you've got to be alongside your centre-half. Now, Monreal's not a natural centre-half, so he probably wasn't dragging him into the right position because he's a left-back as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that left-hand side was a little bit. Sterling made some really good runs, and we saw how the penalty come about from Sterling, making that little run, and he's trying to push up, wrong timing, onside. But you know, I think there's no complaints about the third goal. It was definitely offside. I mean, the linesman should be seeing that. Really, he's looking right across the line. We saw one the day before, Newcastle, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Dwight Gale, he's level. Or the right back is keeping him on, and that was disallowed. But I think Man City was more evident that he was definitely offside. You could, I know it's hard for linesmen. I'm not having a go at him, but that was definitely a foot, leg over to be offside, and that shouldn't have stood. And then they might have had a chance. But Man City, nothing against Man City. They were superb on the day as well.
Talking about, I mean, you lot's invincible season, yeah. When did you kind of think, or when did it, you lot start thinking, you know what, we might actually do this? What point during the season do you think, hold on, wait a minute, we actually haven't lost here? Can we? Oh. Was it before that? Yeah. Was it before that Robert Perez? Was that before that Robert Perez?
The dive. That was at home. That was early. Yeah, but all the lads had a bet on it. So before the season, we're going to go and beat him. So we knew he was going to be around now, though. It was the season before Arsene Wenger said. Right. He more or less put a lot of pressure on us the year before. He said this squad can go unbeaten. That's how good they are. And he's not just saying about the first 11 that goes out. He's saying about the squad in general, because he knew he had 7, 8 players who wasn't going to play on a regular basis, could come into the team and fit in perfectly. and doing exactly the same job as the lads who was doing it already. So he knew he had the squad of players, because you won't win a league and won't go unbeaten with a squad of 12, 13, 14. You've got to have 20, 18, 20 players who exactly know their jobs when they come into the team. So, and we didn't think about it. We always had a meeting at the start of the season saying, right, this is our aims. We want to win everything if we can. You know, that's obvious. But we wasn't going to win everything. But the league was always a massive trophy to win. Champions League is big. And we had a couple of opportunities to maybe go a little bit further in that competition, which we got knocked out in the quarterfinals and semi-final stages. But the league was always the one, because in a cup competition, sometimes you need a bit of luck. Something can go against you. You know, you can get an offside goal, go against you, or go for you, and then you're through. Yeah. With a league, it doesn't lie. You know, 38 games, and you can never say, oh, we had a bit of luck there, and we didn't have a bit of luck there. But 38 games, it evens itself out to say, you know, the best team is the top who come first, and the bottom team is the worst team in the league. Simple. But I think, to answer your question, it was probably 8 or 9 games to go. And that's when the press really kicked, you know, started ramping it up, saying, oh, they still haven't been beaten. Who's going to be the first to beat them? And we still didn't think, and it's an old cliche, one game at a time, simple. You know, who we playing this week, whoever it was, we get prepared for that game, try and win the game, or at least get a draw, and then we move on to the next one. And probably, we won the league at White Hart Lane, which was great for the Arsenal fans. I've never seen White Hart Lane empty so quickly, it's frightening.
You had to get in there.
Well, we won a league at Old Trafford as well, so we done all right in 2002. But it was the last 4 games were the hardest, because we'd won the league already, and sometimes you can take the foot off your pedal, you know, and say, right, okay, we've done our job, that's true. But we still had to keep going. I remember '98 we won the league, and we had 3 or 4 games left. We lost 4-0 next game, but it didn't matter, because we've won the league already. So we just had to keep focused, and Arsenal men had done a great job just to keep us on the ball. And I think second from last game was the hardest game. It was Portsmouth away at Fratton Park. It wasn't the Robert Perez dive. That was early. That was early in the season. It was. We went up there, and Jens Lehmann was unbelievable. He was like an octopus. He was saving everything, and they battered us that day. And we walked away with a 1-1 draw, but looking at it, we should have lost 3 or 4-1 because they were that good, Portsmouth, on the day. They were desperate to beat us. And we just about hanged in there in certain parts of the game. And that was the beauty of our team, because we never knew when we was beaten. And even if we went 2-0 down, we always thought we could get back and get the equaliser, 2-2 or 3-2, win 3-2, because we had so many good players going forward and could score goals.
Top quality stuff there. I know you mentioned that you spoke on Arsene being pivotal in that success during that period of time, as well as the players of quality that you had. As it currently stands, obviously I know it's amongst a lot of Arsenal fans. It's a very sensitive topic, isn't it? But where do you stand, in the old Wenger in, Wenger out?
Well, I mean, they've made that decision already, haven't they? They've signed him a 2-year contract, and you know, I think they would have looked at it. They would have looked at it and said, "Who can take over?" You know, that's the big thing for a lot of clubs. You know, when you set your manager, you've got to have a little bit of a plan to say, and you've got to take people up. You've got to be asking their agents, saying, get something in place, saying, would you be interested if there was an opportunity to be manager of Arsenal Football Club? Yeah. Would he be interested, the manager, whoever they're going to talk to, and get it lined up? But you can't just sack managers and say, right, what do we do now? Who do we get? So maybe there wasn't a lot of people available who could have done a better job. I mean, Simeone was mentioned, Allegri, but they just signed new contracts at Juventus and Atletico. Pep Guardiola would have been great, but he obviously is at Man City. You've got all the top managers are really in big jobs, and that's the problem you have. If I was Arsenal now, I'll be looking and saying in 2 years' time or 1 year's time, whatever it's going to be, who's going to be interested in taking Arsenal over, and then try and put it in place now. And because managers don't hang around at clubs, they move around.
You got Ancelotti. Just out here. He's a big fan.
Do you know who'd be perfect one day? Is Patrick Vieira. I mean, Patrick Vieira now is manager at New York, but now he's probably in front for the Man City job instead of Arsenal, because obviously he's Man City. He's Man City's ambassador. Of course, and now he's working for Man City. Yeah. Obviously, he's part of their club, so he would have been perfect. In future, is Thierry Henry, because very intelligent guy. He knows the players. He knows, dressing room areas. He knows how to attract big players. He could be perfect for it. Now, will he get an opportunity? Who knows? But that's a sort of. I would always look at ex-players and who can do the job. I know it doesn't always work out like that with Tony Adams and people like that. But you know, if they know the club inside out, which them guys do, it gives you a big advantage when you come to a club already and come to a manager club like Arsenal.
All right, you touched on Thierry Henry, right? What was it What was it like playing with Thierry? What was he like as in general? Like,
he sat next to me. He sat next to me every day in training. I taught him everything. I wish I could say I taught him everything. I taught him a bit of London slang. That's about it.
Yeah. What was banter? What was banter like back then? Like,
oh, yeah, you guys get fantastic. Yeah, we was always having a laugh. I mean, and do you know Wenger loved people having a laugh. He loved the banter himself. Because look, when you train hard and you concentrate on what your job was to learn out of that training session. But after training, you could have a laugh, and he enjoyed that. Smiles on your face, because you can't be too serious all the time, because you'd always be thinking about football, and sometimes that's too much. Your pressure will grow and grow on you. So I think the foreign guys really liked the way the British lads just had a bit of fun, and they've never experienced that wherever they come from.
The next question is, how many years until Arsenal win the league?
That is such a hard question to answer. Who knows? I mean, you could say, how long will Man United to win the league? How long will Spurs win the league? You know, that is, anything can change quickly in a season. You know, a big influx of players coming in, a new manager could do it. You know, with all different clubs. But I'm hoping very soon. I mean, within the next 10 years, I'm hoping, because it has been a long time. 2004 was the last time. That's 13 years. So, you know, hopefully, but as I said before, the league has got a lot harder now. The competitive nature of the top, when we was winning the league, not taking nothing away from our teams, but it was really Arsenal, Manchester United. Yeah. And then obviously Chelsea come into the frame. Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea. And then obviously Chelsea and Man United went on together, and Arsenal probably dropped back a bit. So I'm not just saying, you know, it was a little bit easier now. Now it's so competitive. Liverpool, Spurs, you know, it's a lot harder now to get results.
So we're looking at...
Hopefully in the next 10 years. Or 5, five are we good.
Keep dreaming.
Oh, no, exactly. Shut man, mate.
Nice one.
Okay, guys, these are your Twitter questions. Do you feel like you've got enough credit in your playing days? Now, I played in some great players. I mean, Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira, Tony Adams, all them sort of guys. And the most important thing for my personal was to play football and play every week. And I think Arsene Wenger was very fair with me. To say, if you play well, you'll be playing the following week. So I was just pleased to be involved in such a great team and win lots of trophies. And I was, you know, I made sure I'd done my job every single week. Credit-wise, I've got loads of credit, so I'm very happy with the credit I got. Obviously, the bigger players and the better players got more credit, and good luck to them. But hopefully, I was quite an important player for that team. What is your favourite ever goal? Well, I didn't score many, but it's got to be the FA Cup final, 2002. Probably, I would say, them 5 days were the best 5 days of my life, because we went to Old Trafford 5 days later to beat Manchester United to win a double. And I got man of the match there as well. So them 5 days were very special. FA Cup finals, such a big trophy in our household. As a kid, I used to watch every single cup final, all the build up to it, and to play my first one in '93. But certainly to score a goal in one was extra special. How big a drinking culture was there at Arsenal in your time? Did it change over the years? Well, put it this way, when I first got into the Arsenal squad, the first thing some of the lads said to me, you can come to the pub with us now. So obviously there was a big drinking culture. The famous Tuesday club, which was brilliant. We used to train really hard during a Tuesday. We always had Wednesday off them days, them years. And it was always going out Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon after training with all the lads. Great team spirit though. But again, a lot more professional, the foreign guys when they come in. Definitely changed things. I mean, Arsene Wenger coming in 1996. Tony Adams gave up drinking in 1996. So around the club it was changing, you know, no alcohol in the players' lounge and stuff like that. So it was always going to change and be more professional. And you had to be a little bit more sharper sometimes going forward. A lot more foreign guys in there who didn't drink. So I probably had a bit of both cultures, a bit of drinking and a bit of being sensible and trying to win trophies. But I would never, whether you say what was the best era, I had a great time when we was going out, but also I had a great time winning trophies. So I had the best of both worlds. Would Harry Kane get into the Arsenal team? Well, that's a little bit of a silly question, really. Of course he would. I mean, Harry Kane is one of the best strikers now around Europe. I think a lot of clubs would love someone like Harry Kane. He's been brilliant for Spurs over the last few seasons. You know, he does it week in, week out. It's not just about his goal scoring abilities, his all-round play. He's getting better and better. He brings the midfield into play. And I really admire him because he's worked really hard to get where he's got to. With going out on loan, and I remember talking to Harry Redknapp and saying he worked so hard in training every single day. So credit to Harry. Let's hope he can really do well for England. I can't say Spurs because they're one of our rivals, but he's a player that a lot of people admire, and I'm certainly one of them who does that. Sanchez or Ozil, who would you rather keep? Definitely Sanchez. I mean, Sanchez will bring you 20+ goals a season. I like Ozil as well. I think he's a very good player. But Sanchez, for his goal threat and his all-round ability to work hard and make things happen for you, I think most Arsenal fans will say Sanchez, and I will be one of them who says Sanchez as well. How many times were you fined by Arsene Wenger? Now, he did fine me on a couple of occasions back in the day, but it was nowhere near as many times as George Graham did. Now, George was he was a master at finding you. He was brilliant, and it was probably to do teach you a lesson sometimes, which I totally understand. I was a young kid, a little bit raw at times, and it was one of them situations trying to teach you a lesson. You can't be doing other things and outside football. But certainly Arsene Wenger fined me a couple of times, but nowhere near as many times as George Graham. Xhaka clearly isn't good enough for Arsenal. Do you agree? Well, I think it's a little bit unfair. Again, I saw signs last season at the end that he really was coming into his game and getting used to the Premier League. It's tough for midfielders. I mean, central midfield is a real tough position. I was lucky to play there myself, and it's a real demanding role for you. But you've got to have good centre midfielders in there. At times, he's been a hit and miss a little bit this season. I think at times he's played really well. Sometimes he's got to be a bit more efficient with the ball, pass it a little bit quicker, and read situations. We've seen certain situations at Arsenal where he just doesn't read it well. We have probably had a best player at reading situations when I played, Gilberto Silva. Now, he wasn't one of them players who was you notice a lot in a game, but he always was in the right position at the right times. And I think Xhaka, if he could go away and learn a little bit of Gilberto Silva, the way his positioning and certain incidents in games, then I think he would be a much better player. OK, guys, that's all your Twitter questions answered.
All right, so we're going to end this the only way we know how. Table football.
Wow.
All right.
Well, I'm not a great player at table football, I must admit.
Hey, listen, everyone says that.
We used to do this when we went out after training. Play table football. What did you got better things to do?
What was like what? Talk to me. First of 3 wins.
Yeah, first of 3.
Yeah, what did you guys used to do after?
We used to have a bit of banter, have a laugh, and a few drinking games and that.
3.
Well, all good fun.
All good. Oh. Listen, it's first of 3 wins.
You let us spin it.
Yeah, you can spin if you feel. Listen, if you need to spin, give it the old. Feel free to give it the old. The old spinners.
He's injured.
Listen, listen. You've had some quality games in your time, yeah.
Yeah.
What's one of the most memorable ones for you?
I think as an Arsenal player, you always. Oh, get in there. It's in there, 1-0 against the run of play.
Against the run of play.
I think it's a game that sticks out in my mind. Obviously, you can always talk about finals and big games like that, but I think the best one was the Inter Milan game.
Inter Milan?
In the Champions League. We lost at Highbury, 3-0. 3-0 at Highbury. They had a really good side then, the Italians.
A whitewash? You got whitewashed there?
Yeah, so we went to San Siro and we're thinking we ain't got a lot of chance here. No Patrick Vieira, he was out, injured. So I was in midfield, central midfield with Edu, who was a very underrated player. And
come on!
He's too busy asking me questions. I'm not concentrating.
It's part of my technique, mate.
So yeah. So anyway, we had Vieira and Edu in midfield, and we went up to the San Siro, beating 5-1.
Yeah.
And I was skipper, and a very, very memorable
You was
night.
what?
I was skipper that night.
You was skipper?
And I couldn't believe I didn't get the job going forward. Disgraceful decision.
Did you ask the?
I said to after the game in the dressing room, I said, boss, I expect to be skipper every week now. And he went no, in his French accent, no. Patrick Vieira is our skipper. I said, that's fair enough. But that was, and I always remember Jens Lehmann. He stood up he'd done a massive team talk at the end of the game, and it was amazing. I mean, he was so proud of the lads how we played. It was one of them situations that he got up and Wenger didn't have to do anything after the game. He'd done it for him.
He did it? Are you serious?
Yeah, and it was a brilliant speech because he used to play for AC Milan, so he knew
So he loved it. He loved it.
He knew how big the result was for himself as well. What's this, extra time?
Listen, you've got life here, mate. I'm telling you. I don't even know how you're still in this. Hold on.
Own goal.
Hold on.
Oh, hello, he's found the corner.
That's cool. What's that, 2-1, yeah?
That's slow motion.
Right, that's 2-1, all right.
2-1.
Cool, 2-1.
Yeah, so that was a brilliant game to play in. I mean, and I always remember Henri that night was unplayable.
Serious?
He was unplayable. He was so good. And we ended up winning the game. And Italian fans, to be fair to them, clapped us off.
What?
They stayed behind and clapped us off. We've never really experienced that. Usually they gutted their team's been so poor. But you wouldn't say they was poor. We were so good. And it was a great performance for the boys. Oh, hello, own goal. Oh, get the rebound.
Hey, listen.
It's all about second ball here. Here we go, there it is.
And it's a free. Hey, listen.
That's my first ever game and I've got a victory. Unbelievable.
Listen, shocking stuff there, absolutely shocking stuff there for me. Guys, it's been me and the one and only Ray Parlour.
Top man, mate.
It's been absolutely awesome. Guys, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a nice like and hit.
I'll play you anytime. Anytime.
And hit that subscribe button. Hey, listen, you know I let you in, man.
Huh? That was supposed to be Tottenham, brother.
3-1. That's so good. Thank you. Well, that's all we've got time for today, folks. So make sure you like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button. My name's Cheeky Sport Dave. You've been watching AskFan TV, and I'm out. Come on!